Good evening. I'm Christine Johnson.
And I'm Alan Devlin. Thank you for joining us here tonight. 3 U.S. service members have died as the war with Iran appears to be widening tonight.
Hezbollah has claimed strikes on Israel, and Israel struck back, hitting the Lebanese capital of Beirut. Explosions and rising smoke could be seen above the city.
And as strikes across the Middle East intensify, security has stepped up right here in New York. NYPD has increased their presence at religious sites and diplomatic locations like consulates. Lisa Rozner leads off our team coverage tonight with breaking details in the war. Lisa.
Well, Alan and Christine, CBS News has learned that those 3 U.S. service members that were killed were among American personnel based in Kuwait. 5 were also seriously wounded. This comes as fighting is escalating right now. It is early morning in the Middle East, and Israel is urging people in nearly 50 villages in Lebanon to evacuate. It was the first time in more than a year that Hezbollah claimed a strike against Israel. In Iran's capital city, Tehran, explosions rang out. Eyewitnesses claiming Israeli missiles had hit a hospital a day after Iranian state media said more than 100 were killed at an elementary school. U.S. Central Command, which oversees the Middle East, posted this video on X, saying in part, the Iranian regime's reckless use of ballistic missiles have been a dangerous threat for decades, and it was eliminating that threat at the president's direction.
An Iranian regime armed with long-range missiles and nuclear weapons would be a dire threat to every American. We cannot allow a nation that raises terrorist armies to possess such weapons.
The president said he will avenge the deaths of the 3 U.S. service members killed. Sunday, supporters of the now assassinated supreme leader gathered and chanted "Death to America." The Iranian military vowed revenge, striking back in Israel, where at least 11 people have died after a missile struck a synagogue in Beit Shemesh and a residential neighborhood in downtown Tel Aviv. Iran is even launching missiles toward neighbors that host U.S. military bases.
Oh, my God.
The powerful Iranian strikes have shattered Dubai's image as a luxurious safe haven of glittering hotels and high-end resorts. The United Arab Emirates says 3 people have died. It issued a joint statement with the U.S. and the governments of Bahrain, Jordan, Kuwait, Qatar, and Saudi Arabia, saying in part, the targeting of civilians and of countries not engaged in hostilities is reckless and destabilizing behavior. We stand united in defense of our citizens and reaffirm our right to self-defense. Ilan Berman of the American Foreign Policy Council explains why Iran is also targeting them.
They're trying to put pressure on American and Israeli allies as a way of getting those countries to really tell Washington and Jerusalem to stop what they're doing. But the opposite is actually happening.
President Trump told the Daily Mail today the military operation will, quote, take 4 weeks or less, end quote, and they are going ahead of schedule. The president also says he plans to speak with the Iranian leadership, but he did not say whether those talks would be taking place soon. And tonight, he's back at the White House.
All right, we'll see what this next day brings. Lisa, thank you.
Hundreds of Iranian Americans marched through Times Square today with renewed hope for their home country now that the supreme leader has been killed.
USA! USA! USA!
Marchers were seen carrying the American, Israeli, and Old Persian flags while also honoring the protesters killed in Iran over the past several months.
There's not one person that I know that's outside of Iran that's Iranian that doesn't have a family member or a friend or, you know, even acquaintances that they know that have been like slaughtered.
So the organizers of the march say they want exiled Crown Prince Reza Pahlavi to go back to Iran and form a transitional government until the Iranian people can determine their own fate.
Lawmakers are divided over the strikes against Iran, some emphasizing that only Congress has the power to declare war.
It is illegal, and the president is obligated under the Constitution to come to Congress and ask for an authorization of military force. He wouldn't get that authorization if he asked for it.
The administration has followed the War Powers Act. The president does have authority under Article 2 to conduct these limited strikes.
The White House says Pentagon officials did brief congressional staffers on the operation for more than 90 minutes today, and there is also a larger briefing set for Tuesday.
Iran's supreme leader is dead, and under Iran's constitution, there's a clear process to choose who comes next.
So will there be another Ayatollah, or could this be the moment a very different kind of leader emerges? Investigator Masa Saidi looking into what's happening inside Iran right now. Masa.
KJ Allen, the transition is already underway. A three-person council has taken over. Then 88 clerics will meet to choose Iran's next supreme leader. Tonight, there is a name ringing across cities in Iran, and he's no Ayatollah. In 1979, Iranians took to the streets for Ayatollah Khomeini. Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi toppled, forever sent into exile. His son has been waiting ever since.
I said, you know what? I know you're always hoping for a better future. Instead of hoping, start believing that it can be done.
Crown Prince Reza Pahlavi is the leading voice of the Iranian opposition. Andrew Galili is the policy director for a nonprofit representing Iranian Americans, and he's advised the prince directly.
He's a really good man.
What is the greatest proof we have that Iranians actually support him in the country?
What we saw was that for the first time, he called for people to take to the streets on two specific days at specific times, January 8th and 9th at 8 p.m. And we saw millions of Iranians come out from the four corners of the country chanting his name.
Pahlavi isn't just asking for power. He has a plan. It's called the Iran Prosperity Project, a detailed blueprint to rebuild the country in the first 180 days after the fall of the regime.
That plan has been sent and made public for the Iranian people to read over the last few years.
You're getting feedback from within Iran on this plan?
From within Iran, as well as from technical experts from around the world, from foreign policy to political governance to even things like managing the water crisis.
As for whoever the clerics choose next,
that new Ayatollah is going to be a main target of the United States and will probably be taken out very quickly.
When would the Crown Prince feel is a good time to enter Iran?
He has said a few times recently that he plans to go back to Iran even before the regime collapses. So I look forward to seeing that day.
And so this is the prince's plan just for the first 180 days. There is also a phase 2 for the first 2 to 3 years. He says he wants to be a facilitator to help Iran transition to a secular democracy.
What about a timeline, though, Masa? Like, how soon could they pick a new Ayatollah?
Experts tell me that it could happen extremely quickly, but keep in mind that bombs are falling on Iran right now, and this will only be the second time in the Islamic Republic's history that they've chosen a new supreme leader.
This one is moving so quickly, by the minute it seems. Masa, thank you for keeping your eyes on it for us.
Well, the airstrikes certainly have left thousands of Americans traveling in the Middle East stranded. Dubai, one of the busiest travel hubs in the world, was targeted by an Iranian strike, grounding flights and forcing evacuations. Doha, Qatar, and Israel have also shut down their airspace. The State Department is telling Americans stuck abroad to get their own departure plans in place and not to rely on the government for help.
The adrenaline rush of what to do, where to go, what's about to happen, who do we tell, are we going to the right place, how much time do we have?
The U.S. Embassy in Israel is also closing tomorrow.
The turmoil in the Middle East is expected to have an impact on oil prices. Oil futures surged in the first trade since the attacks began. U.S. crude rose about 12% to around $75 a barrel. The international benchmark Brent crude jumped more than 12% to $82 per barrel. Experts say drivers could see higher gas prices as soon as tomorrow.
And do stay with CBS News New York for continuing coverage of the war with Iran on air and online at cbsnewyork.com.